Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure, see. And after several nights, you would say, well, that was pretty great. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control. Well, something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. Then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now. If you awaken from this illusion, and you understand that black implies white, self implies other, life implies death, you can feel yourself not as a stranger in the world, not as something...
Back in late 2018, I contacted MyOwnFrontier's Joey, inviting him on a route in the North Cascades called the Redoubt High Route. Joey accepted this invitation and brought aboard another able traveler named Aaron. As the trip was about to start, the weather looked to be against us. Studying weather maps for a few days, it was decided to try our backup route within the Glacier Peak wilderness. This would entail us going over Spider Gap to Lyman Lakes, and Cloudy Pass, through Swaddle Pass, toward the off-trail route to Bannock Lakes, which we would end up calling Character Ridge, due to the steep, mosquito and rain-drenched misery we had to endure. It was truly a test of character. Onwards to Hanging Gardens at Ross Pass, Totem Pass to Canyon Lake, dew-soaked deteriorating trail from Canyon Lake to Image Lake, and advancing toward Buck Creek Pass. The original goal was High Pass to the Napico River Valley, where we would then camp and then exit through Boulder Pass. The weather had us pull the cord and exit at Buck Creek Pass. Though we didn't complete what was originally organized, we got the most important part complete, the off-trail route from Bannock to Hanging Gardens and back over Totem Pass. It'll be a trip I won't soon forget.
Here with the famous Joey Coconato, MyOwnFrontier, and the awesome Aaron. I just took myself out from a tree. I'm not going to film most of this since I already have a video of this section, so I'll just film little highlights. Streams are a bit more unruly than that of late September. My feet are already wet. Went on a 7-day 6-night backpacking trip starting at the Phelps Creek trailhead, going Spider Meadows, Spider Gap, Upper Lyman Lake where we'll camp, or Lower Lyman depending on how we're feeling. From there we'll go over Cloudy Pass, Swaddle Pass, to Bannock Lakes, an off-trail route. From Bannock Lakes, got an off-trail route to Canyon Lake, through Ross Pass and Hanging Garden, over Totem Pass, and puts us at Canyon Lake. Canyon Lake, it's an easy day to Image Lake. Then from Image Lake, we head to Buck Creek Pass. That's normally when this loop is usually complete, heading down Buck Creek Pass, back to the Phelps Creek trailhead. But we left the vehicle at the White River Road trailhead. So we will continue to High Pass, down into the Napiqua River Valley, over Boulder Pass, and shuttle out then.
And then Grizzly Bear Lake. Called Lewis shooting stars. One of my favorite wildflower. It's because of the purple color and they look like an actual shooting star coming down out of space. And they're an early flower of the season and they grow in really wet, boggy areas.
Aaron, first impressions of Spider Meadows.
Well, I kept seeing the peaks sticking out from the trees as we were approaching. I kept seeing a snowfield here, a peak there, and then we broke out of the trees and you have this wide open expanse of meadow, and it's something I've never seen before. I'm completely blown away. Like I said, it's beckoning me to continue on further up into that basin up there.
And Joey, your first impressions of Spider Meadows.
It's a lot of bang for very little buck.
So we're in Spider Meadows right now. It's pretty similar to last time Lacey and I did this. Spider Gap is up in that notch right there. Here's Larch Knob. There's like 3 to 4 amazing campgrounds up here at Larch Knob. But we're gonna zigzag straight up. And then go up Spider Gap here, and there is a false summit, so that's always fun. The first time I did it, it took a lot of wind out of me. It was awesome, but once we get to the top, the view is exceptional.
But I think also there's spruce too. When we get up higher, we'll get into more pine trees. Crossing through this creek here, and I'm always looking out for things that catch my eye geologically, and I noticed some pumice, big chunks of pumice right here sitting in this creek bed.
And what is pumice?
Pumice, well, it has high silica content, which means it's made of mostly glass, or yeah, it's mostly glass. It's really lightweight. If it wasn't logged with water, it would float on it because it's very less dense. The size, I don't know. The size is puzzling me because the bigger the grain of the pumice, the closer it is to the source of the volcanic eruption. But this is really big, And I don't think it came from Glacier Peak. It's just, it's too big. It's too big. Glacier Peak's too far away from here. So maybe a ghost volcano of the Cascades. They're all over the place, so.
Tons of flowers. Here we are at Larch Knob. Great campground with a great view. Is this why you came here, Joey?
No. I came here for what's next.
Oh, snap.
Water was really tasty.
On our way up Spider Gap. On the final push to the false summit. Up on Spider Gap. Unfortunately, we cannot see Dome and Sinister or that grand view. We got some mean or goofy looking clouds.
We go down this way.
Yep. Zigzagging down. Making my way downtown. Hate myself for saying that right now. There's where we came from. Now we're walking down this way. Unfortunately, the view wasn't as great as the September trip because of the clouds coming in. But we got a lot of days out here, so we will see Bonanza and we will see Dome and Sinister. Well, we made it off the snow field. That's where we came. We're down in the upper Lyman Lake area. We are going to go find a campground in the trees. I'll tell you, it's sort of a bummer with the clouds, but I think the clouds sort of add a cool, like, ominous texture. Sort of like, I have you now, boy. Well, we're at Upper Lyman Lake. Can you guys give a few words of how you're feeling about it right now?
Oh, it's a big down, big up. These boulder fields here. Definitely got to pick your footing very well. But got feelings. I'm just blown away. It's the geology is amazing. Got some glaciers behind us. Got some clouds coming up over these peaks here. But I'm really anxious to go set up camp because I want to eat. I want to lay down and I want to visit with my new friends here. So anxious to get there and set up our tents.
Yeah, it's pretty cold, so I need to put some clothes on. But it's worth it. This is pretty awesome. You can't really describe this. Can you do a trip over to that one?
To Bonanza?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a lake on the other side of it. It's supposedly really pretty. I heard it's a shit kicker too. But there's Bonanza, my white whale.
Just what you get to see of Olympus, and then getting up on the snow dome isn't that hard. And when you're up on the snow dome, it's a 360, like every direction you look, because you're right in the middle of the peninsula, so you can see the Pacific Ocean. Like you can see the Strait of Juan de Fuca, Mount Baker, Mount Rainier, and all the Olympic peaks around you.
Getting packed up. I'm gonna head over Cloudy Pass today. Gonna miss this place. Cool thing about living here though is I could always come back. Made it to the junction. Getting our climb up to Cloudy Pass.
Yeah.
Making our way up Cloudy Pass. Almost there.
So if you get sick later on in this trip, could be because of this.
How's it taste?
Oh, sweet.
The bloom right now for June's incredible. Cloudy Pass.
One edge of my view to the next.
marmot must have felt outnumbered.
There's our target. But we must walk all of this. And here, Joey the Marmot Whisperer, the wild man, approaches his new friend. I looked up at him like, yo, what's up, dog? Hey, if you're gonna take a photo of me, I charge, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That marmot is legit posing for Joey. He's probably getting an amazing shot. Aaron, do you have a few words about Cloudy Pass?
Cloudy Pass, it's like double-faced. You know, on one side, you come up from the east, and you have one gigantic span of mountains from Dumbbell to Chihuahua, and these amazing meadows. It's almost like Alaska, or like, who knows, it's Washington. This is what we got here. And you come up over Cloudy Pass onto this side, and the mountains just don't go away. Like we have Glacier Peak over here, and that's bringing back just a ton of memories from a trip I did there in 2014. I've seen places that I've been before. This, and then Sinister Peak over there, and Dome and Gun Sight. Our future. I think it's 10,580.
There's the mighty and majestic Glacier Peak. Hiking along some really cool rock formations. Some rain over in Chelan. There's a good look of the aftermath of the Bannock Lake fires. Reached pretty far up the valley. Bannock Lake's fire started on the other side of that mountain. We are now on PCT North, near the Swaddle Pass. Making progress. That's that cool rock formation I filmed earlier. We came down from there. Still working our way down the PCT. Got into this pretty opening. Some droplets. Bonanza. North Star, the other sides of them. Look at this little tree growing on this big boulder. There's where we came from. Thought it was all gonna be downhill, but I was wrong, because we're going up again. Never ending. We're in what looks like the aftermath of an avalanche. Some trees just sheared in half. The trail kind of goes into it, so we gotta find it out on the other side. We're supposed to wrap around that corner there. There's the tree line cut that points you, the arrow that points you to the pass over to Bannock Lakes. Oh, keeping astride this tree. It's doing a pretty good job. Well, it started raining. It wasn't in the forecast for Tuesday, but it changes all the time in the mountains, so. He's adding insult to injury for Bannock Lakes. There's Fletcher's right up there. The arrows that point to the pass tree, when you're higher up, forms like almost an arrow pointing you to Bannock Lakes. Once we got to the arrow tree line, Aaron shot a compass bearing and we began our climb, 2,000 plus vertical feet in steep forest. Once we hit the heather meadows up in this section, the mosquitoes got really bad and thunderstorms were rolling in the distance. We were on a race to get down the ridge.
Once we got to this section, we couldn't figure out a way down. It seemed it clipped out, so we stuck off to the right towards Saddlebow and cut under it and began switchbacking down to Bannock Lakes, where we then crossed over to the other side of the lakes, the southern end, and wrapped around looking for a flat spot. There weren't many flat spots, and the ones that were covered in snow, but luckily, further down just below the lower lakes, we found our camping spot. I didn't get footage of this section because I had my camera away in fear of damaging it in the climb, and because I was tired. I looked basically like John Candy from The Great Outdoors once the horse bucks him off. Our potential campground. I didn't film much because it kicked my ass. Came from up there and zigzagged down into here.
Give us the first words that come into your brain when I say yesterday Character Ridge.
Well, I always tell my my athletes, you know, how much heart do you got? How much can you take? How much pain can you take before you give up? And so yeah, it built character, but it also built heart. You know, it's all about, you know, how much are you willing to stand? And I think we all stood it all. You know, we worked together as a team. Took it tree to tree. Eventually it gets over with, you know, you just climb up and up and up and break out a tree line and you're there. I was just trying to, you know, stay positive, get those positive vibes up to everybody else. And it was a true mountaineering experience. It felt like I was mountain climbing.
Would you do it again? Would you go over Character Ridge again in that spot to get to these lakes?
Yeah, I would. I'd take other people too. It was awesome. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I think it was the better way to go, considering the way we were looking yesterday. We had two options. We could either, you know, the high traverse from the trail to go up to the unnamed lake and then up and over the rocks, and that would have put us up there.
Yeah.
And looking at it now, probably wasn't the best idea. So the Fletcher route, bless his heart, is the way to go.
Least favorite moment yesterday? Did you have one? Like, was there a moment where like you were just like, ooh, this sucks? Or
Well, you know, it was getting dark. We got into this basin and the sun was setting. You know, it was like a race against time to find a place to set up camp. So I guess finding our camp spot last night was a little bit stressful, but it wasn't that bad. We found the best spot that there is in this basin, I think, to set a camp up. And no, I don't really have any non-favorite moments from yesterday. I guess, you know, just the day ending. We didn't get to keep on hiking. So it was a good day. I think it was one of the best days of hiking I've ever had, to be honest with you. Being up on that snow ridge with the ice axe and kicking those steps in for everybody. Like, I felt like I was kind of just paving the way for both of you guys, you know, to come up behind me.
Hell yeah, brother.
made the way so I could just film you.
And then
Made it easy.
And then going down was really fun, I thought. Again, I probably should have put the crampons on too, but plunge steps do a pretty good job, you know, where you plunge your heel in and then just go down and down and down. But there were some parts there, you know, where I was plunge stepping onto some ice, and a wrong step could have definitely sent somebody into a slide. And there were moats too. A lot of them, you know, those big boulders, the sun hits them and it melts out around the rock and creates those pits that you just can't see. There's a couple times I stepped in and went all the way up to my crotch with 1 foot. So I'm glad that none of us stepped into a moat, ended up getting hurt or anything. Everybody's safe, everybody's good. You know, we're ready to do the cognitive higher level thinking day today.
Joey, what do you think of Glacier Peak Wilderness so far?
I was thinking about this yesterday. This is the first time that I've ever been on a trip where I was literally saying to myself, maybe I shouldn't put the video out. Like, maybe I shouldn't put any information out in this place. I think it's, like, in my mind, just cresting that first pass and seeing it and being able to look at a map and just comparing that to everything else that I've seen. I mean, how is this not a national park? And how is this not the most badass wilderness to backpack in or do any sort of adventure in? It's massive, you know, like there's just like so much wilderness out here. It's so rugged. You have all these mountain peaks everywhere, these beautiful deep valleys. I mean, this is as good as it gets right here, I think. I mean, this is awesome. I could come back here and spend almost a summer in here just kind of exploring every one of these little basins and high alpine lake areas and climbing some of these peaks. So this is wild country. So that's what I think.
All packed up and ready to go to Ross Pass. We're gonna have to figure a way down though. So we're basically just following the trees down to the lake. And we have an impressive view of Dome and Sinister on our way down. Aaron's route has brought us down to this otherworldly view of Bannock and Lower Bannock Lakes. My God, this is beautiful. Aaron, what are your thoughts of Glacier Peak Wilderness so far?
Well, you know, if the goddess Artemis was real, this would be her sanctuary. She's the huntress, and she would get unmolested here because nobody comes here. Every way that you try to penetrate this wilderness area, you're either gonna have gonna have to drive a very long way on some very rough dirt roads, and all the approach hikes, it's hard to get here. You gotta work to get to this spot, and that's why I like it. Plus the rocks here, beautiful.
Indeed. We just camped and came down from there. It was really easy. The rocks made it super easy. Then we came along the lake shore here. Now, as you see, I'm gonna scoot up the rocks up here, then zigzag onto this bench. It's actually not very steep. From afar it looked really steep, but it's really mellow looking. But how can you beat this view? Started down there, made our way up here. Still got a ways to go.
I'm gonna go right up this. Question is, can I just bust right through the top, or should I try to cut over? I think I'm just gonna go right up it.
Yeah, almost looks like a staircase, sorta. I already had a few pictures of you, Joey. Now it's a video. Look how high you are. Look at that dedication, camera in hand. So, yesterday, we got up there, walked over to this guy, and just zigzagged down and camped down in those trees. Today, we dropped down these rocks. It's the bottom of the lake, up here. Now going that way. Oh, we got up to the halfway point, it looks like. Looks like there's still some walking to be done. We gotta make our way up to Ross Pass, up in there. Working our way through the hanging gardens. Well, as we were heading up to Totem Pass, a thunder and lightning storm materialized and sent us down the mountain. Rained a bit. We hung out under the trees before we set up our tents. Waited for like little openings and breaks in the rain, and we ran out like as a team, setting up each other's tent one at a time. So now the rain seems to have stopped, but some good fog cloud came in, as you saw on my time lapse. So I'm just sitting here about to eat my mac and cheese as suggested by Aaron. And that's about it for now. Probably gonna just camp here, then tackle Totem Pass in the morning, rain or shine. So Aaron, what did you enjoy most and then enjoy the least today?
Most, I enjoyed being down at the lower Bannock lakes and then climbing up the moraines and climbing up the heather and getting up to our part where we were approaching Ross Pass. I thought that was the best part. It was the best weather. Felt like we were doing some mountaineering. This whole trip has been nothing but mountaineering, it feels like. And then least favorite, having to turn around at the pass. It was a bummer.
Look at it now, guys.
Yeah. But you know, we played it right.
Yeah, there's a lot of thunder and lightning.
A lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, a lot of rain. If we would have continued, we would have been up at the pass at the wrong time of the day to be there.
Yep.
Going into the unknown, so.
My wife would have been pissed.
Yep, Sarah would have been pissed too.
Yeah, if anything else interesting happens, I'll film it, but as of right now, not much is going on, so. Yep, the sun just got really bright out there.
Yep.
But that is it for day 3. Any thoughts on today, Joey?
It's just a hard day. That was hard. Not a whole lot of hiking going on. A lot of climbing up, a lot of climbing down, a lot of kicking in steps, a lot of wet feet, and a lot of rain. But it's a lot of pretty incredible views. I mean, it's probably one of the best days of hiking I've ever had in my life. We only went 4 miles. But yeah, I mean, it's turned into a pretty epic adventure. So let's just see what the next 4 days turn into.
It is day number 4. The Totem Pass is right there. That's where we're going. Dumped rain on us last night. You can see even Dome has a fresh layer of snow on it. Joey and I about to head up Totem Pass. It's right up there. We just climbed back up that steep, miserable heather slope to get back to the point where the thunder scared us away and lightning almost killed us. So here we go to actually get over the pass.
Oh, it's right there, isn't it? See it. Well, the clouds make it look like it's all the way at the top. Yep. But I think it comes down, doesn't it?
Right here.
Yeah.
Joey about to crest Totem Pass. Fuck yeah, dude. Aaron's already bouncing way down that way. Yeah, oh, there's a bird up here. Why don't we have wings? We made it to Canyon Lake. I'll put up a little virtual map showing the route we took down. We basically took the creek bed all the way down to a flat spot, then cut over, and that's when we found the trail. There's the man who led the charge.
North Cascades. Like, it just seems wilder and
It's
bigger. I mean, that was wild too.
technically a part of the North Cascades, because they're technically, well, it was like 2 and high, north of US 2.
Everything more north of 2.
But yeah, like the National Park Complex and the
Yeah.
Pasayten, yeah. I still like the I have a weird soft spot for like the northeastern corner of the Pasayten. But yeah, I like Glacier Peak a lot.
I think President Kennedy, though, set this aside.
Our original plan was to camp at Image Lake. However, some big rainstorm came in and started drenching us. The Canyon Lake Trail in the tree areas is very brushy and overgrown, and everything was wet. We were getting soaked. By the time we got to the unnamed pass to Image Lake, we were drenched, cold, and tired. Then the wind came in, making us even more cold. By the time we got to the miner cabin area, we found 3 flat spots to camp on, under big trees for shelter. So that is where we called it for the day.
Well, yesterday was a real wet one. Pretty much all of our stuff is soaked. We had a little window of sunshine. We tried to get our stuff out to dry out. Joey, what did you think of that rainstorm yesterday?
It was a legit Washington Cascade rainstorm, and teaching me some lessons here about what rain is capable of. So it's a wet day. It's definitely worked out great that we were all able to get to camp and be dry and warm, and no one was too cold or in a bad spot, but definitely probably down to the last little bit of dry clothing to handle the trip. So another day of rain today is going to be pretty interesting. Today we might just have to hike out.
Here's the trees that saved us.
Yesterday was just socked. Socked in.
On our way to Buck Creek Pass, where we got a weather update where it's unfavorable weather incoming. So instead of doing high pass down to the Napiqua, we don't want to be caught up there in a thunderstorm or something. So what we're going to do is go over Buck Creek Pass and exit through Buck Creek.
Not even putting a lens cap on it because I've been taking the lens cap off so many times. I was just like, and it gets dirt on there every time I do it, so I was like, might as well just leave the lens cap off.
Good rest spot.
We're almost at Buck Creek Pass.
Yeah, it's good. Should just get the tripod out at this point.
Buck Creek Pass. So we're heading down the Buck Creek Trail. Our original route was going on High Pass, and that looks socked in right now. And the forecast did say there's going to be thunderstorms from 11 to 4 tomorrow, and that's not where we want to be when there's thunderstorms, so we've elected to take the exit down Buck Creek.
Truck's blocking all that weather. You're at peace, aren't you? Well, maybe. These things are pretty cool.
Making our way down Buck Creek Trail. The storms are chasing us down the valley. I'm gonna keep moving.
Waddle down and get some water before I get too complacent.
Yeah.
Want me to bring your thing down and I can fill it up for you?
Yeah, I'll walk down there.
All right, we have made it to camping for the first time all trip. We got a campfire going. Surprisingly, really hard to get our stuff dry. It's just so waterlogged. Feeling we're gonna be working on it for a while. So let's go around and ask, assuming no curveballs are happening tomorrow, which is, there's been a curveball every single day. The trip's basically over. We got 3 miles to the trailhead and 3 miles up to get the truck of road walking. So, Aaron, assuming there's no curveballs. Aaron,
Yes.
your thoughts of the whole trip. Just gush your mind out. The highs, the lows, what you expected, what you didn't expect.
The last up is always a significant one, you know, because it's the last up. It's the last real big burn in your legs you're gonna feel, and it's an emotional one. And for me, it was a good last up because I got to see places that I've been before. So the last up is over and it's behind us, and it's all downhill from here. The trip is quickly winding down. One of my top 3 favorite ones of all times, for sure. Definitely in my top 3. Physically grueling at times. The elements definitely challenged us for most of the time. Every day we had rain, just about. Besides the first day. The first day was probably had the least moisture. What I liked about this is there's so much I like about this trip, but I guess if I could start with anywhere, I liked how when at the worst moment when it was raining hard, I've never been out hiking in rain like that. It was like a shower coming out of the sky. It was cold after miles of bushwhacking, knocking little dewdrops of water all over your clothing, boots soaked, every ounce of clothing soaked. And then on top of that, it continues to rain. And then it started to snow. And I'm really glad that when we got to camp, we found a good spot that worked. We were able to put the tents up. We all helped each other. A lot of teamwork going on. And it was a moment where it could have gone bad, you know, if our attitudes wouldn't have been good. If our attitudes would have been poor, that could have been a pretty bad situation. But because we went through days of character formulation, then we were ready, you know. All of us kind of combined together and brought skills to the table, just, you know, to get through all the challenges, the terrain, the elements. And then now, you know, we're over. It's going to be over with soon. We're hiking out tomorrow. significantly and ironically, our last night we get our fire, and we're sitting here, you know, ending it on a very, very, very good tone. And it couldn't be any other. I mean, I wouldn't want it any other way, you know. So even with the levels at times when it sucked, it was still we all grew. I think every single one of us grew on this trip in some way or another. And that's what I think about.
That was a very, it's still, it is, it's a pretty badass adventure. I mean, this is like a full thing. This is what it's all about. Like so many passes, the high country, the lakes, the snowfields, the route finding, the climbing, the bushwhacking. It's an adventure, and this is one of the funnest trips I've done in a very long time. For sure. Every day seemed to be harder. There was always some new sort of suck, and we just all seemed to work together and still had a really good trip. Everyone got along. There was never any bickering, shouting, fighting, arguing. It's a pretty awesome trip. It made me not want to leave. I'm gonna come right back next week and do another trip here. But this is an awesome wilderness.
Yeah, it's been a excellent trip. Like, assuming there's no curveballs tomorrow, which this wilderness has thrown curveball at us every single day.
Well, we camped under dead trees.
One of us is gonna get squished tonight. Probably me. But
what did you say before? Curveballs are hard to hit.
Yeah. The trip was awesome. My feet were wet since day one. That's okay because I brought a lot of socks. All the passes, the route finding, Character Ridge. The thing I love most about this trip is no matter how bad the elements and everything got, everyone stayed in a good mood joking and stuff. It's such a weird bunch of people talking together on the internet for months at a time and getting together and going through both like an amazing experience and some of the most lowest lows you can go through, and just like band together so well. I think I found two new good friends here. And we're already talking about future adventures and stuff. One downside of the trip is the weather kind of messed up the original route, but if the weather was nice, we could have been having this fire up at Buck Creek Pass, watching the sunset on Glacier Peak. But maybe for another time. We've got time. But yeah, we're hiking out tomorrow, and that's Bannock Lakes route, whatever you want to call it, Character Ridge route, Character Traverse, or the Glacier Peak Wilderness.
Way up in the sky, the little birds fly. Way down in the nest, the little birds rest. A wing on their right, a wing on their left. They're sleeping! The bright sun comes up, the dew falls away. Good morning, the little birds say. Good morning!
Nice.
Morning, day 6. You gonna give us a song?
I don't have any. I don't know if I could top that at all.
Dark gray clouds gathering.
You got complacent. You got complacent! You're off my show!
My favorite thing Bear Grylls said was there's like this island survival episode where he lands like 3 miles out from this island on a little, and he had to swim to the island and stuff, and he's like, all you gotta do is swim the 3 miles to the island and you're in pretty good shape. Yeah, all you gotta do is swim 3 miles. That's an ocean current. Yeah, that's a
With sharks and...
not all of us are SAS operators.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Do I need to say that one more time?
The stuff I have right now, The way that bear keg and all that makes it packing everything up really quick and easy. It's all my shit. I only got like literally 8 things to throw into my backpack. Another curveball. This is the trail right now. Yep, this is the trail. There it goes.
Tomorrow you'll be back again. Hang your head and let me in.
So we stashed our packs. Now doing the road walk back to the truck because we don't want to walk the last 3 miles uphill with packs. A lot of blisters on our feet.